It's no secret that railroading in the 21st century is different than it was in the 20th century, hence the title of this channel. But railroading has always been railroading, and there are certain things that really don't change much over the years. Take switching, for example. Now, from a rail fan perspective, at least from my perspective, I love to see switching action. It tends to be a little bit slow, rudimentary, but it's just interesting to watch. From a railroad perspective, switching is kind of like railroad diamonds. It's not a railroad's best friend. Switching, admittingly, from a railroad perspective, is slow, it's laborious, it's time-consuming, and it's tedious. You know, we don't think a lot of the things that we don't think about as rail fans are the technical aspects of railroading. When you talk about railroad switching, it's kind of akin to rush hour traffic. A lot of start-stops. In the case of switching, you're constantly slamming up against cars. Things like that take its toll on a locomotive. A lot of rail fans don't realize that, but that takes its toll on an engine, on the couplers, on the frame, you name it. All those parts. So switchers have to be designed durable. Switching locomotives themselves, they've been around a long time. They go back to the 1930s. In fact, they might even go back to the 1920s. In today's railroad environment, as the big railroads try to do as less switching as possible, a lot of that duty has fallen back on smaller railroads like the short lines, some regionals, and even the individual companies themselves, and in some cases, switching contractors. And that brings us to this little doohickey here. The Tractive Power Corporation's TP56, the TP obviously standing for Tractive Power. It's a very simple but high-tech locomotive, and pretty much what you see in this picture is what you get. It's built from an SD40-2 frame. In this case, it's the Canadian Pacific 5805. Now, I looked in my archives. I did not have a picture of the 5805, but I do have a picture of the 5905, so hopefully that'll be good enough. Now, here's what you have to understand about Canadian Pacific. Unlike any other railroad that I know of, Canadian Pacific's SD40-2s, they tended to really range in terms of the little stuff. In other words, you could almost say, and I say almost, so for all you nitpickers, take your hand off the keyboard, you could almost say that no two CP SD40-2s were exactly alike. I mean, they all had their little subtle differences to them. But nonetheless, this is made from the 5805. It has air conditioning, it has good visibility, it has a stainless steel ceiling, and it's pretty rugged. And you know, it's something that's typical of switching. Another thing that's typical of switching is when you're dealing with switching in yards, you're dealing with lots of switches. Some rough spots, and especially in wet weather, you're dealing with slippery spots. So any switch engine has to have good tractive effort, and this one has that. It has 375 horsepower, and it puts out a whopping, wow, 70,000 pounds of tractive effort. Best of all, they're very environmentally friendly. They're Tier 4 and Tier 3 compliant here in North America.